What are we at? 97.
Look at that.
Get out.
Okay guys, well I'm here with an old mate, Sam from Alpha Trading. Now I ran into him not long ago and we were talking about cash versus gold. And we came to the interesting thought, I wonder which way's more in today's climate.
Particularly if we're doomsday prepping, or if we're planning to hold some of our assets in different ways. We got stuck on the point of what would essentially fit better in the safe. What would be a better way to hold it, and then if there was a comparison between the weight of cash versus the weight of gold.
So here we are. We've got 20 grand in cash. This is all in $100 notes. It's the highest denomination you can get, so it's the lightest amount of cash you can carry on hand. So just for clarity, this is 20 grand cash versus 20 grand in gold. It doesn't look it. Have a look at the size difference here. This is what blows me away, is I'd have to carry all this around with me, or just that in the palm of his hand.
We have got 6 of these little 1 ounce blocks of gold. Now, although they look small, they carry a mighty weight as far as value goes.
So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna weigh this. We've got 2 kitchen scales here. We're gonna weigh it and see which weighs more. Well, first what I wanna do is put this 20 grand cash in Sam's hand. He's got the 20 grand gold in his other hand, and see what he thinks, which is gonna weigh more. What's your guess?
The gold actually feels heavier, but I think it's because of the weight distribution. I think because it sits right in the palm of your hand that it feels heavier. I'm kind of leaning towards, although I can feel the weight of the gold, I'm leaning towards the cash actually weighing more. I have a feeling that we're going to be pleasantly surprised.
I came to the same thought. The gold actually feels heavier, but I think it's just the fact that it is just in a smaller part of your hand. The cash is better distributed with the weight. It's really peculiar because it feels heavier.
Do you think that there is a perspective based on how easy it is to turn the cash into anything that you'd like to purchase versus having the gold in something where you know that it's going to be a slow transaction process to get it into cash?
So you're going into the psychological of it.
Yeah, I do think that there's something there.
I hadn't gone that deep. That's an interesting perspective.
Should we fire these scales up?
I think so. What's your best
going.
guess? Which is going to weigh more, 20 grand in gold or 20 grand in cash?
Now we get a tear weight going. Both are zeroed in.
1, 2, 3.
We're at 94 grams.
4,
125, 156, 187 grams.
So for your reference, these are all a troy ounce. Each one at the moment is worth $3,325. So that is $19,950 or something like that.
So we're pretty close to being on the money, you could say.
Exactly. This is exactly 20 grand in cash.
What are we at? 97.
Look at that.
Get out. What are we, 186, 187? They are bang on,
pretty much
aren't they?
parity.
They're bang on.
They're both sitting on 187 grams.
What would you prefer?
What would I prefer? I think the cash is easier to move on. The cash is the easier option to buy a car, to go down and buy a drink.
But if we start to think about, inflation's obviously at the top of everybody's mind at the moment, has been for a while. When we look at, and I'm no financial advisor by any means, I do a little bit of business advisory, but nonetheless, the topic of inflation always pops up. And when you look at cash, or you think about cash in the bank, we're constantly reminded at the moment that we're losing 7% of that cash every year. As inflation grows, our money is worth less. Now, you said a little bit earlier while off the camera some information about the gold and what it actually it would cost to purchase that 20 years ago? Yeah,
well, that's an interesting one. So 10 years ago in 2014, it was $1,350. So that's gone up 2.5 times in the last 10 years. So
gold's not then open to inflation. Gold sits as effectively at the weight of gold.
Gold fluctuates. You could buy it tomorrow and it might go down a bit. But at the core, at the end of the day, it's got a great history of going up in value.
Yep.
Like you said, in the year 2000, gold was it was $480. So essentially $500, you could get one of these ounces, which are now at $3,325. So for all 6 of these ounces, you'd need a little under $3,000. 24 years later, you need all that extra cash there
And
just to buy the same amount of gold.
No doubt, 10 years ago, you purchased the gold, you still would have the gold today. Whereas 10 years ago, you have the cash, you chip away at it, you know?
Yeah.
You got an event coming up, you might go out to the footy, you get a few tickets, a couple of nice dinners. Before you know it, there's not a great deal left, is there?
Yeah, and you know, add on top of that your tax you've got to pay on all the interest in the bank, and there's always some money coming out. Every year there's money coming out, where with this stuff here, you know, if you're looking at something to hold on to long term, well, it seems like a winner to me. Like Sam said, this is not financial advice. Do not go out and buy this.
We're simply talking about probably the efficiency of putting things in the safe, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're talking about what's the easiest, quickest, and probably most high value thing to keep in the safe. Potentially, my bet would go down as gold.
Yeah, and the reason I really wanted to make this video, the fact the weight is on parity is just crazy. When they brought out the banknotes, it was because people didn't want to lug around precious metals because it was too hard.
Given the weight. Yep.
Given the weight. And we've gone full circle, and even with all of this cash, you know, you're carrying around the same amount of weight as if you were carrying it in gold. So we've gone full circle, and our currency's gone from worth great money, where it's at one point this single note probably would have bought you all the gold, and now it's 200 of these notes you have to carry around to get the same gold.
Next up, I reckon in 10 years' time, let's call it 10 years' time, we're going to have an extra, 20,000 subs as well, if not more. Let's call it 2 million subs. But when we get to that point, we might be dropping down a platinum Amex versus the weight of gold, and to see which one actually does weigh the same amount. Now, the Amex may have $20,000 worth of cash in it. The gold may be worth 200,000 by then. We don't know.
Well, this was a comment someone made to me, and that was, I wonder how much a phone weighs, because your phone can hold your Bitcoin and everything.
Exactly.
And just out of a matter of interest, because we're here, the phone weighs about, 30 grams more?
Yep.
Thereabouts.
Yep. Okay. We're getting close, aren't we? We're getting close to another parity.
It's not really a reference point, because cash and gold are way different to what crypto is ever going to be. These are essentially what I would like to call privacy notes, and these are privacy bars, where nothing on your phone is private, no matter what you want to think. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. It seems completely bonkers, but all of this cash is the same weight as gold, which seems crazy because the whole point of it is, at some point, gold was deemed too heavy to carry around.
I think it's about time we start getting this stuff back to the bank. What do you reckon?
That's it. Sam, thanks very much for coming on, mate.
Pleasure.
Great to see
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, if you want to see any other videos based on gold, or you have any cool ideas, let us know. If you want to see something similar, we'll see you in the next one.